In the 6th round of the 2023 draft, the New York Jets and Joe Douglas selected Jarrick Bernard-Converse, the defensive back out of LSU. So let's take a look at his All-22 and we'll see if JBC has a legitimate shot to make the Jets 53. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? It's Luke here from Play Like a Jet, and we are back in the film room with another rookie All-22 breakdown, this time looking at 6th rounder Jarrick Bernard-Converse. And look, his tape was okay, but it was probably the pick that I liked the least for the Jets coming out of the 2023 draft class. He played some cornerback on the outside, LSU system, a lot of off coverage, cover 4, cover 3 type shells. But then in the Tennessee game, he also played safety, where a lot of people think he will project in the NFL. So let's take a look at his tape. We're going to start with some red zone man coverage reps, and I thought he was fantastic in this area because it didn't challenge his athleticism as much, and he was able to make plays on the football. Here he is, left-hand side of your screen, one-on-one, man coverage. Look at his short area quickness covering this whip route, stays in the hip pocket, and then when Young gets rid of the ball, undercuts it perfectly and gets a huge interception early in the game for LSU. You've got to remember, in college, you can be this physical at the line of scrimmage within 5 yards, does a fantastic job with his change of direction here, stays balanced, is in the hip pocket as he comes on the break of this route. Excellent positioning, and then undercuts, and look at the one-arm stab here with that left arm. A really nice play. I think JBC is especially effective in the red zone because he doesn't have to worry about his hips, about the deep route, and he can just play ball, and that really suits his skill set. Another red zone rep, this time against Ole Miss, and he's on the right-hand side of your screen. I like the patience here from Bernard-Converse. On the fade route, he doesn't bite early, he doesn't get impatient, he doesn't try and get overly physical. He is extremely patient. He watches whether this is going to be the fade, which it ends up being, or if it's going to be a slant to the inside. He gets the little arm bar with the right arm, and in the end, it's a terribly underthrown ball, and it's picked off by a teammate. But he's in an ideal position here. Again, I think these type of reps really showcase his skill set. Patience, the ability to stay attached in short spaces, he's really good at that. And I think that's going to be good playing man coverage on tight ends, and if he ends up at safety for the Jets. But these were things that really jumped off the film to me, and I liked that aspect of his game. But these type of looks were more common in the LSU defense. We've got our guy 10 yards off the line of scrimmage here, off man coverage. This is where I started to have some worries and concerns. Have a look at his hips on this deep vertical route, how he gets stuck in transition, lost in the blind spot, and then he just can't run with the receiver, and it ends up being a touchdown early in the game for Florida. This was my first cause for pause moment with the JBC tape. I just think his transition footwork and his hip tightness leads to him getting absolutely gassed, and then he doesn't have the genuine re-acceleration to get back in the hip pocket that a guy like Sauce Gardner has. This is why I think he doesn't stick at corner in the NFL. I just think his hips aren't quite good enough. His footwork and movement in space left a little bit to be desired, and that's what you see here. Just very choppy footwork. It's these transition steps right here. Loses balance, is a little bit all over the place, struggles to turn and go that final time. The back pedal itself is fine, it's very smooth, but it's this ability to turn, the tightness in the hips, that's where it showed up, and I think that's going to be an issue for JBC. So that leads me to when he played safety, and that was in the game against Tennessee. And I was interested by this game and intrigued by it because this is where you project him to play in the NFL. Didn't go particularly well, I got to be honest with you. So here he is over the slot receiver on the right-hand side of LSU's formation. And we'll let this roll. We're going to see a very similar thing that we just saw in the Florida tape. Just a bad route, very stiff hips, and he just gets absolutely torched for the touchdown. Now look, I understand that Tennessee had some guys that can flat out fly and a couple of balls that went in the 2nd round of the draft, but he doesn't get near Hyatt here. Like, it's not even close. So what's the issue here for JBC? He's got leverage, he's got cushion, but the mistake he makes is again in his transitional footwork. He's very sloppy, turning his hips, he loses speed, and Hyatt just blows past him. To make it worse, you can see that Bernard-Converse wants to run this 45-degree angle to get physical with him. You're just taking too slow of a route to get to the receiver, and he burns straight past him. This was a weakness in his game. This concerns me because even if you're playing safety, you're going to be in cover 2 look sometimes and have to handle a number 3 receiver vertically down the field. I'm not sure how well he's going to do that. Now you've got him center field again, same game against Tennessee. I just want you to look at the angle and the lack of awareness and field awareness, I'm all for playing to your landmarks. And I understand that JBC is probably being coached this. We're going to backpedal, we're going to get into center field, and we're going to rotate into this shell. But you have to have the understanding that right now they're on the near side hash. So in all likelihood, you're not going to get Hooker bombing this ball to the left-hand side of your formation all the way outside the numbers. This ball is likely going to come to your right-hand side. But he gets to his landmark, center field, and just loses all awareness of this number 2 receiver coming vertically down the field. I understand this is probably a coaching issue as well, but I want to see my safety have the understanding and the instincts of where the football is likely going to go, especially in college, and I think he kind of lacked that a little bit. I just want to see him get to his depth, not so much worry about that landmark on the hash, and in the end, again, he struggles to get going and just makes the tackle to save the touchdown. The last issue that I noticed on JBC's tape, and it again came up on the Tennessee game, was his ability to take the right angle to ball carriers and also hit and stick. This is a problem. If you're a safety, you need to be a good tackler. You can't be a guy like LaMarcus Joyner was for the Jets defense in 2022. So he's in center field, and the route to the ball carrier here is okay, but he freezes his feet a little bit early. He gets caught passive, and again, he's looking to grab with his hands rather than lay the wood and the hit, and he just ends up on the floor. You've got to be more physical. You've got to be a run-through tackler. That ability to come downhill, to slow down your feet, but still have your momentum going through contact. You can't completely freeze and just give yourself up like JBC does here. This was something he did a little bit. He's also a bit of an ankle tackler. I want to see him have a higher target zone. This wasn't a good job from him tackling from the free safety position. But then there were some examples where he'd come downhill as a cornerback really well, and that's where I want to finish. This is a rep against Alabama, right-hand side of your screen. You're going to see him in what ends up being almost his cover 3 rotation look, and he's got nothing threatening his zone deep, so he's able to get his eyes on the quarterback, and look how he closes, slows down his feet, and makes the tackle on the ball carrier for a minimal gain. Now, there are some issues with this play. Again, it's not perfect. I think that he could have closed a little earlier because there was no threatening in his zone. And then again, gets a little stagnant with his feet and ends up just bringing him down. Kind of gets a little left knee tackle and rope-a-dopes him down to the floor. But it's good closing speed, it's good awareness in zone, and you can see some of the skills that will translate to safety. I think he's just going to need more reps there. So overall, a little disappointed by the tape, but that's what I thought about JBC. So is Bernard-Converse a safety? Is he a corner? I lean and err more on the side of safety, but I think he's going to need a lot more seasoning. I saw some issues with his transition footwork, his hip tightness, and some of his angles to the ball carriers, but he's a good athlete and he's got a chance to make the Jets roster.